Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, mother. With Nery Saenz. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Steph, Uni Mayor Sr.
Yeah, I don't have to look for you.
Oh, no.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah! And Mike Mercadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hello, everybody. Hey, welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. My name is Mike Mercadal. With me, as always, is
Nery Saenz.
Nery Saenz. The wind is blowing my green screen around. What is happening? This is what happened. This beautiful California weather, where it's a lie. It's been gray here for the last 3 months. It sucks. They tricking you. Don't move to Los Angeles if you want sun.
That's because of all that smog, bro.
I wish I could dispute you, but I have no idea what it is. But I was like, oh, I live in California now. I was promised sunshine and palm trees, and they're like, oh, that's the May gray. And I'm like, it has a fucking name?
Well, as long as it has a name, it's as long as it's not the May, June, July gray, you know. It's like,
guess what, buddy? There's a June bloom. You know, like it's too much. It's too much.
Every time I watch a movie, you could always tell when you watch a movie in the 80s or even 90s that they base it in LA because you show all the smog that's no longer there. And it's so funny because they even in some movies they even reference it. It's like, oh, there's smog. And I'm like, what? I mean, if you don't know that about LA,
yeah,
you know, if you don't know that about LA in the 80s and 90s, and you're just, you know, if you're a 25-year-old watching a movie that happened to come out in 1995, you're like, what the hell are they talking about?
What are they talking about? Yeah, what? It's literally the movie. The first movie I'm thinking of is Nice Guys. They talk about like the smog check or whatever. Like there's like the
falling down. Remember falling down?
Falling down. Yeah,
I mean, it's a thing, dude. It's a thing. Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway,
we just sound like old people. We just
remember smog?
Back in my day, we had smog.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the What's Up Bro podcast. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Facebook. You can watch us on Twitch. And you can watch us on any of the other channels that this will get shared to eventually. If you follow at Mike Mercadal, at Nery Saenz, at WuBro Pod on all social media platforms.
I wanted to do Instagram. You know, we could do Instagram now.
Oh yeah,
but it's such a hassle, dude. It's such a hassle. Like the reason I've done it one time on a test run. You have to, for those of you who don't know, we use StreamYard, and I love StreamYard, but you have to log in. You have to log into Instagram, go pretend like you're going live, then get a link, and then go to StreamYard, and then add a new destination and put that link, because that link is only specific for that one time. It's not like it won't
you can't.
It's for that specific live moment. And it's
I
like,
hope someone from StreamYard is watching.
and by the way,
ladies,
and
what's
by the
up,
way,
bro? Sponsored by StreamYard.
yeah, and by the way, you could only do it from a desktop, which 95% of the time that I'm on is from a phone, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be brutal. Like it's just, you know, with my Wi-Fi connection. Shout out to your stepmom for calling me out that one time, because I'm back home and my Wi-Fi is great because all I did was turn it on.
You had your shit off. Okay, so the signal was trash.
The signal
and
was
afterwards,
trash.
I was like, man, we got to do something, dude. I don't understand why it's so bad. It's in your house. Did you run an Ethernet cable? And he's like, oh, we bought a repeater. And he's like, let me go look at it. And you came back and you were like, okay, that shit was on.
It wasn't plugged in. It wasn't even plugged in. Forget about turn. It wasn't plugged in, dude. I was like, oh, no. I was wrong. Yolanda was right.
Yolanda was right. We also foreshadowing to an IT story that we're going to be happy because this is the classic. If you've ever worked IT or any kind of tech job where you have to help people solve problems and you're like, did you try turning it off and turning it back on again? And everyone always has a fucking attitude about it. Everyone's always like, what do you mean did I try to turn it off? Oh, did you try unplugging it, plug it back in again? And 99% of the time, it's like, okay, it's working now. I think that's what
I wouldn't say that high, but I would say there is, and it's not IT's fault for asking that question because they have to ask that question. But I think that question is it hits harder with a certain age demographic. And if you're IT, you don't know how old the person that is calling you is. You don't know that shit. You don't have an automatic profile of like, all right, this person is 65. They clearly don't know shit. Try turning it on, Grandpa. You know what I mean? But
it's nothing about turning it off and turning it back on again is condescending unless you say it like, have you tried turning it back? You fucking, like, have you tried being not an octogenarian still in the workforce because the economy is forcing you to not be able to retire?
Look, man. All right, let me tell you.
Hey, man.
Look, we're don't get me started, man. November's right around the corner. It's fucking
thank you to everybody who's just tuned into Conspiracy Corner with the What's Up Bro podcast. Get in the comments with your IT conspiracies.
Conspiracy bros.
Conspiracy bros. I would
love that podcast to do a Conspiracy Bros podcast where you just bring up a conspiracy theory and then you talk about one person talks about why it might be true and the other person goes, this is fucking crazy talk.
Yeah,
this is crazy. This is crazy talk. This is nuts. And then there's bound to be that Venn diagram. There's bound to be a conspiracy where both people go, I could kind of see that.
I could kind of see it. Look, I love it already. We have somebody, Adam Suzanne, the Suzanimal, in the comments. Buddy from New York was always on the Unsung Heroes podcast.
I love him.
His conspiracy theory apparently is that baseball is fake. And judging from
like scripted, you mean?
That's not for us. Look, it's a cryptic message. It's like us receiving a riddle. Baseball is fake. What does it mean? What can it mean?
I mean, there is the signals are just
players communicating with each other. Also, super true, like technically correct,
accurate.
But also
they literally accurate.
How could they could be sending other secret signals?
There is I saw a post a couple years ago that said that the National Football League, or I think it was either the National Football League or NBA, is registered as an entertainment entity.
Right.
So therefore, they are not legally forced to be fair. They could be the WWE and just not be telling us. And by law, they don't have to.
They kind of, look.
But again, the WWE literally has writers that we know about, the general public know about. And what they're saying is that the NBA could literally have writers that just the general public isn't aware of. And they are legally not in the wrong because they are trademarked as an entertainment entity, not as a sporting entity.
So they could literally be rigging. It's got to be tough because there are times where, look, Travis Kelce playing in the Super Bowl when he's started this relationship with Taylor Swift and is bringing millions of new fans to the
millions.
and millions of the Rocks fans. They are all coming to the NFL genuinely. Like, that sounds like a movie. It sounds scripted. It sounds like, and then he gets to sing "Viva Las Vegas" in the Super Bowl victory. You're like, how much did Vegas pay for this? The WWE in the 80s went to athletic commissions and said they were scripted so they wouldn't be categorized as a sport and have to be regulated by athletic commissions. So basically, they were like, hey, we don't need regulation.
Yeah,
it's all.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Who cares if they do steroids? That's what happened. It was this whole steroid thing, and Hulk Hogan got in trouble and all this stuff there because they were like, he's juicing. And he's like, what? I preach, drink your vitamins, and what? What are you talking about? I wouldn't.
By vitamins, he meant full testosterone injected into your balls. He meant
Deca and Winstrol.
Yeah. Those are vitamins, right? Those are just vitamins, naturally occurring. Testosterone is natural. We just,
of course.
And of course, in the 90s, there were trials about steroids. The great documentary Screwball by Billy Corbin about the A-Rod scandal, all that stuff. Great stuff. Good stuff. Get in the comments with your own conspiracy theories. But today we did have a list of things that we did want to talk about. I've been out of the loop. I've been super occupied and busy and not paying attention to too many things in the pop culture because I went on the full social media blackout thing that they were doing. I started
you put a black square.
I did put a black square in honor because I wanted to feel like I was doing something. I really wanted to feel like I was accomplishing.
Not only that, but you wanted to show other people that you were doing something. Because
that's kind of it. I didn't want to do it. I want people.
If you just do something and nobody knows about it, did you really do anything?
You need the documentation. Like I can scroll back and be like, remember when I did a thing?
I could give a giant tip to my waiter, but is it really a giant tip if social media if it isn't posted on social media for the reactions?
As a tip in restaurants, what I do is I get their social media handles and I tweet it out, and I'm just like, that's worth more than 15%. I'll tell you that. That's worth more than 20. Me tweeting out to my dozen of followers, that's about
4 of them are your podcast, but it's all right.
That's true. But I did go on that full look. I've blocked a ton of celebrities. I did a ton of corporate accounts. I don't know my social.
Why is this?
So it started. Look, I'm not going to get into the super specifics of it, but it's all about.
Buddy, we're already in it.
We're in it.
We're already in episode 1 of Conspiracy Bros, man.
Conspiracy Bros. The genocide that's happening in Gaza right now. There's a lot of people with huge platforms that weren't speaking out and or being incredibly classist with the whole Met Gala thing that happened, and people were like, these people are fucking monsters. They get paid by our attention. We're living a new attention economy. They're not using their platforms for anything good or, standing up for Palestinians and or genocide, like, just the death of innocents. And the people were like, how about we just block them? Just stop giving them our attention. They can't get their number. Like, it's all advertising. We tried to do it on this podcast to get advertisers on this podcast years and years and years ago, and it's a numbers game. It's an eyeballs game. So I just started blocking them, and as a byproduct, my feed on all my social media platforms is now like retro back in the day of where it was just people I knew and or things I actually liked. So the algorithm has no choice but to give me the stuff that I want. It's genius.
That's all right. So has that accomplished anything aside from that? Aside from getting your algorithm back to personal friends?
I'm better
asking out of curiosity.
It's better I'll tell you this. On TikTok, it's basically shown me TikTok is just like QVC now, as everybody's trying to sell some shit. And then on Instagram, it's basically turned it back into MySpace, where it's just people I know and or like things that I like, and I don't have to see stuff that doesn't pertain to me or stuff that'll make me angry. Like, I'm like, I don't need to, and so it's a little head in the sand kind of thing, but it's actually like helping, because it's eventually you're just going to delete it.
My algorithm I'm not saying I don't follow any celebrities because I'm sure I do. But my algorithm, the only celebrity I think of that pops up constantly is Will Smith and The Rock. And Will Smith is only now because he's promoting a movie. Because when he's not promoting a movie, ever since the Oscars a couple of years ago, his social media has been rather quiet.
Why? I wonder.
I think he was in the right. So I legitimately asked that question. I'm like, I'm fine with it. I'm like, I'm not saying slap a comedian. I'm saying if you're gonna slap one, Chris Rock would be the one I would slap. But these are jokes. Take them easy. But the mic is already getting uncomfortable. But my whole point is my algorithm now, like, sure, it comes up with people that I don't know, but it's usually like either comedians I don't know, or
it's the content. That's what I meant.
Or puppies I don't know, or superhero banter I don't know, or super hot chicks with smoking asses that I don't know. And I'm like, I thank you, algorithm. I appreciate your work. You're doing God's work.
You have remarkably curated a simple,
very simple.
The algorithm,
very dirty, very simple, very dirty.
Who are we serving up to today?
Yeah.
Oh, Nery, butts, and just more asses.
A bunch of butts and
butts.
puppies. And if it's football season, 49er news.
Absolutely,
that's literally my news feed, and it's like, okay.
But I'm telling you, man, I'm out of. I feel like I'm blissfully unaware of some of the things we mentioned that we want to talk about today, because I still have YouTube, so my YouTube algorithm is whatever it is. So I did see the new Beetlejuice movie is coming out. They released the trailer. We're gonna watch it. Beetlejuice squared, and then the Butterfly in the Sky documentary about reading Rainbow.
Yes.
You mentioned that.
Not trying to brag, but they do follow me.
Reading Rainbow follows you?
Reading Rainbow documentary. Reading Rainbow documentary.
Why do they follow you?
Follows me on Instagram, and they follow like 27 people. I don't know. It's like a low number. It's not 27, but it's something. It's a low number, and I'm one of them. And I'm like, okay. But
even you're like, I guess.
Yeah. But in all fairness, I was following before they came to VOD. When they were literally like, we're playing in 2 movie theaters across the country. Make sure you come out to those 2 theaters. And I'm like, okay, I'll follow you.
Right.
I want to see this dog, but I'm not going to, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like when it started up, I saw their trailer for like it's coming to VOD, and then I saw Reading Rainbow Doc is following you. I'm like,
what? They chose me.
They chose me. Yeah.
Let's just fucking watch it.
Butterfly in the Sky. IG.
Let's see. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Oh, so good. The music.
You want the Reading Rainbow treatment?
Do you want wait, hold on. What a baller sentence. It's like, you want me to give you the Reading Rainbow treatment?
It's like The Rock being like, do you want to say The Rock says? Do you want
me to say The Rock says? Because I'll say it. And
yeah.
So you were following them when they were at all of these.
Again, yeah, I followed them. I followed the Instagram account. I don't want to make it seem as if I was following them to each city and going like I wasn't doing that. I just followed the account. I wanted to see it. And it wasn't on VOD, and I was like, where the fuck can I watch it?
Yeah, I love the demand. The people are clamoring for it. I can go twice as high. Iconic.
Yeah.
Reading Rainbow was not about learning to read. It was about loving to read.
I said, we will get kids reading more because they will watch Reading Rainbow and they will go get those books. Nobody believed us.
I thought, what a great idea.
Reading is a very fresh way to learn.
Reading Rainbow wanted
so good
to know there's all kinds of stories out there. And while it may not be stories from your neighborhood, it's stories from a neighborhood you should know about.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Ready? We would all throw ideas in without worrying about how dumb they were or how difficult to achieve they were.
I did everything they asked. I mean, everything. Ow! I became
getting bit by a cow.
Since they had hired me, and what they got was me.
He wasn't talking down to you. He was talking as like, let's have this conversation.
It hurts when someone you love dies.
He was on TV as himself. And that's power.
Hi, everybody. This is a book for you.
It was saying your stories matter. Your voice matters. which means that I get to watch the show and say, huh, maybe I have a voice. Maybe I have an opinion. Maybe I have a story.
Chills.
Yeah.
But
It's so
you
good.
don't have to take my word for it.
Ah, so good.
It is it's so hard to explain to anyone who I've come across this a couple times where I do sound like a very old man, where I try to describe something that I loved as a kid without sounding condescending, like, you don't know what you were missing, man. But it is hard to
Don't
explain.
preach to me the old ways.
Yeah. Don't cite the old magics to me, witch. It's hard because it's hard to describe the transition of technology that we have lived through. You and I both have lived through such a huge swing in technology that when Reading Rainbow came out, there wasn't like a place you could, like, having to explain a time when there was no on-demand anything. Nothing was on demand. People weren't even on demand. You could, if you called someone and they weren't home, you just didn't talk to them.
Literally yesterday, from the day of this recording, yesterday, I was explaining to my son what Blockbuster was.
Yes.
And it was
the best job I ever had. I would go back and work there in a heartbeat, dude.
If I could get paid, if I could get paid what I get paid as a comic to go back, I think I would legitimately be like, I'll take half the year.
I'm responsible for saving lives right now, and I would go. And if they paid me the same, I would go back to working at Blockbuster. It was just such a good job. I loved it.
So I explained to my son what a video store was, and then he was like, "Is that where you go to?" He's like, "That's not a movie theater." I go, "No, it's not a movie theater. You would go." And like I would have to explain that not all the that when a movie came out in the movie theater, we weren't able to watch it at home for months, sometimes a year, until after it came out in the movie theater. And he was like, "What?" It's like we saw Ghostbusters a month ago, and we already own it on Apple. Like, we already own it. And I'm like, I know, but it wasn't always like that. So I had to explain all of this to him. I explained to him about DVDs and Blu-rays, which he kind of knew.
You're right, because you are a collector.
I tried to explain to him about VHS, and he was like, it's like
the concept.
I'm like, it's technically. I mean, we don't have a VCR, we don't have a VHS player, and they're like, what? It was like
there are people who are keeping look, and this is another conspiracy. Let me get my tinfoil hat and we get real close to the camera. The physical media of it all. Well, to be fair, it is Reading Rainbow. Like books, physical books, people are still buying in record numbers now because everybody just wants that, owning the book.
If there's a fandom that is made for holding on to nostalgia and physical media, it is book readers. They fucking love that shit, man. Don't try to take a book.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't try to take a book.
Hilda just said we just watched the doc and it brought back all the feels. Reading Rainbow Forever #. It is because reading for, I guess, if you, young people are doing it too, so I can't really say it's like a age thing. There's something about the written word, like physically holding a book in your hand and reading and flipping pages, that it's hard to, like, you can't recreate it. I have a tablet. I read on a tablet. I try to, and I've lost whatever attention span I had at the time I was heavily reading. I've lost it. I do not have it.
I don't have, so I'm not, so I was gonna say this, right? Like, I didn't want to rain on the parade of Reading Rainbow because I thought I even as a kid loved the show. I wouldn't watch every day or whatever, but whenever it was on, I was hooked to it. And I was never that guy I was never that kid that's like, I'm gonna go read that book. I'm like, man, that sounds awesome. What else? Like, it was just like that, but it wasn't. I wasn't trying to be a jerk about it. I was just like, I'm not gonna read this book because I know myself. Even then, as a kid, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking read a book. I don't give a shit about a book. But I like watching the show because it's like, even if you don't like if you don't, you know what I mean, like whatever, fucking Game of Thrones. Like, I'm not the biggest like Knights and Dungeons and Dragons guy, but I still like the show. I can still appreciate the show. So I appreciated the show of Reading Rainbow, even though I wasn't an avid reader. And now I try to read, bro. That's the quickest way to fall asleep for me.
Yes, yeah. That is
like,
let's
give me
just
10 minutes.
go to bed.
It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a graphic novel. It could be a book that I genuinely enjoy reading. And I'm just like, 15 minutes. Here we go. My eyes are getting heavy.
There was a show called I think it was a thing. I don't remember the exact name of it. I think it's this one, but it was basically like a book, and then they would do the cartoon of that book, like a 30-minute cartoon of the book, and it was for children's books. And I remember seeing that book, watching the cartoon, and being like, "Oh, I'm not going to read that book." That's the cartoon. It was the perfect encapsulation of like, I watched the movie. Let me, like, I don't have to read the book.
I think subconsciously, while I was a kid watching Reading Rainbow, subconsciously, because I don't think I actually thought this at the moment, but I think subconsciously I was like, that sounds like a cool story. If they ever make a movie out of it, I'll for sure watch it. Like, that's subconsciously what I was thinking, because I knew myself. I never said, let's go out to the. I remember a couple of times I was like, let's go to the library. It was more of like the going to the event. Like, I wanted to go to the library as like, oh, look at me, I'm going to the library. But it was like, it was like,
I want to go buy some shit at the Scholastic Book Fair.
Facts.
And right, like, I just want to go buy some shit.
But my Scholastic,
am I gonna read it?
My purchases, my purchases at the book fair, I swear to God, Mad Libs, right?
Oh yeah.
I would get a book based upon a movie that I already seen. You know how many Karate Kid Part 2 books I had, bro? You know what? Are you kidding me?
The ones about movies?
Yes, the ones about movies, the picture books, the sticker books. Oh, this book comes with stickers. I'm like, I like that movie and I want stickers. I'm gonna get that book.
Brother, I was an origami kid, paper airplane kid. I would buy the books that you tear pages out and fold things up and throw them.
Leave some pussy for the rest of us, bro. Come on, bro. Take it easy. Take it easy, bro. Come on.
I mean, don't fuck with me, dude. Who you think you're fucking with? Let's say
I was an origami guy. I can't even imagine. I was an origami guy. I was like,
I started as a paper airplane kid because my dad taught me how to throw paper airplanes and like fold up like some food, and then you just start folding. And then I was like, what else can I make with paper? And then of course the venerable ancient art of Japanese origami presented itself. Origami. And it is karate.
And you saw it, and that didn't be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do paper boats. Maybe we shouldn't do any of this.
Hey man, that's rookie shit. Okay, you with your paper boats. Don't come over with that basic bitch ass.
You literally just said paper airplanes. That's more basic than paper boats.
Yeah, that's where I started, brother. That's not where I finished. All right, the pursuit of origami is forever.
Sorry. You were doing
never reach
Taj Mahal. Were you doing the paper Taj Mahal? What were you doing? What's other level paper building? What's other level?
The idea of making multiple things that fold into themselves to create bigger structures, geometry, brother. I was folding the cosmos into these papers.
Pick a number 1, 2, 3, 4. That one. You did 1. 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Color B.
Let's see.
They were called fortune tellers, right? That's what they were called.
Those little, those things. Again, rookie shit.
I was never even able to make those, bro.
Yeah,
make those.
The Suzanimal, LeVar Burton is hosting an adaptation of Trivial Pursuit this fall. He should have gotten Jeopardy. I still think that. Actually, I like that Ken Jennings got Jeopardy, but he was like in the running for Jeopardy.
He should be the next Wheel of Fortune guy.
He should be the next Wheel of Fortune guy because it involves reading.
Yes.
Raven Simone is also hosting a Scrabble game show. Adam, on brand as ever with either wrestling or game shows.
Jesus Christ. Talk about leaving pussy for the rest of us. Adam, come on,
Adam,
man.
the best. The Last Blockbuster is in Bend, Oregon. There's actually a documentary about the Last Blockbuster.
Is pretty good. The documentary is pretty good.
I guess what I say when I want to go back to work at Blockbuster isn't that I want to go work in the Last Blockbuster. It's that I want to be 18 again with no problems.
No, I would like to have all the partners I have now. If I could make the money that I make now, telling people what movies to rent,
bro. Yeah,
come on, man.
Hilda. Oh yeah, don't we read that one? Reading books from your phone or Kindle isn't the same. Even audiobooks. I've tried audiobooks, and it's as much as I enjoy them, and I've listened to some great ones. It's still not the same.
So I've only listened to a couple. I read a lot with audiobooks. I say read because I try to correct people when they do that, and they go, "No, that's still reading." I go, "All right, man, I'll fucking buy into it." I guess I read a lot then, but I read a lot with audiobooks. I will say that my favorite kind of books, I am learning about this by myself in the last couple of years. I gravitate towards nonfiction. And audiobook wise, it's fantastic. Like audiobook wise, it's like
people talking history.
Like I've been like running. Like, first of all, have you read Tarantino's book? Holy shit, it is so fucking.
Is he reading it? in the
He reads,
audiobook.
so he reads the first chapter to get you in, and you're like,
Ah.
I'm in, and then you buy it, and then some other douche comes in, and you're like, whatever. But the book is still amazing. It really is. I went through that book in a day and a half. It's so good, and it was like a 14-hour book, and I was like, I'm fucking in. I'm just gonna listen to this bitch the whole way through.
Yeah.
It was really great. Anyways,
awesome.
I listened to a lot of those nonfiction books.
Do you listen on the ships, or like where do you listen, in the car? On the ships?
Yeah.
Do you just lay in bed and just?
No, I sit at a coffee shop. And then I listen to my headphones. I listen to the book, and then I just watch, and then do people watching while I'm listening to how they caught Pablo Escobar.
You leer at strangers while they don't know what I'm listening to.
They don't know what I'm listening to.
Adam, I don't think I've ever read a book because of reading Rainbow. Adam, you know what? I can't name one that I was like, yep, I read it because of reading Rainbow.
But in all fairness, just from the documentary, oh my God, he bought a
Rocky IV book. Of course, what a good book to forget.
So, in all fairness, to quote the documentary, we weren't telling kids to read. We wanted them to get to love to read.
Right.
So that's what that was their whole point, and I thought it was a good.
I
thought it was a good message.
No, it is a great message.
I gravitate more towards that show than I did Mr. Rogers as a kid, and I didn't watch either one of them religiously. I watch whenever one of them would pop up, I would watch it. Same thing goes for Sesame Street. Whenever it would be on, I would just flipping through the channels. I would stay there, but I never made it appointment watching for any of those shows as a kid. But out of those shows, Reading Rainbow is the one that I remember watching the most.
You want to know? So the one that I keep coming back to the most, where I'm like, I remember it, and then it was like I remember it being very important to me, and then it was just gone. Was
Fraggle Rock.
A Scandal noted Bill Cosby's Picture Pages. Do you remember that he had like an animated show?
Yeah, where the fat guy and
not Fat Albert. It was Picture Pages, which was like, it was like from when I was like preschool age, like a little kid, and I have such a visual memory of the Picture Pages or whatever. But like, again, all of these programs were when children's like educational programming really like took off because
it mattered.
Yeah, or it mattered. You know, there was nothing really else. Like, and you needed, you know, there was no iPads. There was no like, you know,
there was no YouTube.
Yeah,
so
there
wasn't like, hey, if you want to learn how to do this, you could go to this. You know, now that they have that.
Right. And then so like there's a lot of these like children that were supposed to get you to love to read or something like that, and then you'd go to school and it would fuck it up. They would be like, here's what you have to read. You have to read this. They didn't ask us what we like to read. They tell you have to read this and tell me what you think about it. I'm like, I don't want to think about it. I don't like this. And it was like this constant battle. And I remember I liked reading through middle school. And then once I got to like the end of middle school / high school, all of the suddenly reading became like more of like there was more weight put on it rather than just like, I was reading, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
I was just enjoying the stories. And now it's like, well, they mean something, and you have to have learned something from reading The Secret Life of Walter Mitty or some other book, The Great Gatsby. And I'm like, why am I reading this book about alcoholics and fucking old money? And
I legitimately asked that question in my late 30s. I asked it to Dave, former from Mount Geekmore, and I legitimately asked him, like, why am I supposed to care about, like, why is Great Gatsby considered a great book? Like, I've read the book multiple times throughout 7th, 8th, and 10th grade.
Yeah.
Why am I supposed to care about this character? Like, he just seems like not a good person. And why am I caring about this? Like, why? And then he was like, it's a literary masterpiece. And I was like, it doesn't seem like it, though, but whatever.
It's also like Shakespeare is important for certain historical. It's like Shakespeare is a history class, not a literature class to me.
Sure.
I would rather learn all
like
the stuff.
The history of literature.
Oh, this is so great. Just imagine Gatsby as a crypto bro.
Oh.
And he's like, I reread and I liked it way more. And now picturing like a modernized retelling of, oh, that's kind of good. I get it now. Yeah. But no, it's like, but it is like reading now, especially because of what we were talking about earlier about social media just being bombarded with brain numbing, brain rot shit just pumped into your eyeballs. It's like I could either actively choose to focus my mind and read on something, or I could just have random videos of people cleaning carpets, massaging my already like rotted brain. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Sure. I don't know. I don't know. The reading rainbow thing. I'm very interested in the documentary. I'm gonna get the documentary. I'm gonna buy it. Support my followers.
Support. Yeah, they're good guys. They're good guys and gals over there. Good people. Good people.
So I wonder if they still follow me. That was like 3 weeks ago or something.
Right. Watch them be like, I heard him talking shit about books.
Like, fuck this guy. He doesn't like books.
Yeah. But let's talk about also so another movie yes, Reading Rainbow. It's hard to recap. Life when that show was out is very different than it is now. And I would love to see what a modern version of that would have to be.
But I think in all fairness, and I don't know, so it's like, oh, they don't make those shows like they used to. I think they do, just not nationally televised. I think everything's online now. I think you could find
the idea of a platform of a public broadcasting system is wild now.
It's now YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So like you could find people who are like into books on TikTok, or like, hey, they're gonna do like this kid's book is this and that. I mean, the fucking fact that Bluey has taken off the way it has,
right? Yeah, out of nowhere, just from Australia,
from Australia, and not for nothing, but me and my wife were into Bluey before Disney got the hold of it. But whatever.
Did you just hipster Bluey?
Yeah,
did you just hipster?
Yeah. I mean,
before it popped off, I was already.
I like Bandit before he became big.
Yeah. You're like one of those guys that's like, I saw Radiohead when it was just like 12 people in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like I was there. There.
Yeah, these people are just fakers, man. They don't know
like
this.
That we went through. Hey, look, shiny. Shakespeare is definitely the most interesting when it comes to showing how media affects slang. That dude created a lot of words, just like made them up. And I guess that's true. I guess Riz is Shakespearean.
Yeah. I mean, MILF is a thing.
MILF is a thing. We've created words.
You could create words that hit the pop culture, vernacular, and it just takes off and it just goes.
Yeah. So like when someone creates the word "yat" and in context, you're like, they're just channeling Shakespeare in their creation. That's what they're doing.
I once read. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Hey, look, shiny says on Twitch, Miss Rachel is the modern equivalent, of these like children's broadcasting programs, which after what happened online that she got like attacked, she was like posted a video of her crying and people were like, I
don't know who Miss Rachel is.
Your kids are too old. If your kids were a little bit younger, they would be immersed in Miss Rachel. She's, I guess, one of these children.
I have a 3-year-old, so I mean, how much?
I don't understand. You're just not cool then, apparently. You're out of the loop.
I don't know who Miss Rachel is. I'm sure Vanessa would. I'm sure my wife would absolutely knows who that is. I'm the wrong one. I'm like, I'm such a dad. They're like, what's your son's teacher's name? He has a pancake breakfast on Thursday. I know that.
And they're like, your kid's teacher's a woman, and you're like, I'm thinking of last year. Oh shit!
Yeah, I'm like, there's a pancake breakfast on Thursday, and so whoever has a pancake breakfast is like, sir, the entire school has a pancake breakfast on Thursday. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. Guys, what do you want from me? What do you want from me?
What do you want from me? At work, what do you want? What do you want, man? But my wife is on all that shit, man. You can ask my wife, my kid's fucking blood type, and she'll be like, AB negative. I'm like, what?
Do you know your own?
I know my own is literally AB negative. That's why.
That's the only one you know. You're like, that's the only one. You're like, I know AB negative. What are the other blood types, man?
I know my children have to have AB somewhere, and because they're my children.
That's
so,
true.
So they're my children. So
yeah. I'm a B positive person, which is on the nose, I think, for my blood type and my personality.
AB negative is around
hold. Yeah. That is a. It is. Do you know that in Japan? Remember when you used to play Street Fighter and it would say their blood type?
Sure.
That's because in Japan they treat it like a zodiac or some sort of like personality test, like the Myers-Briggs personality test. Your blood type determines your personality. So when someone's like a blood type B, and then they're like, "Oh, that guy's a pussy" or whatever, like yeah.
Bison does look like a B.
He does. He looks like a B.
He looks. Chun-Li's absolutely O. She's absolutely the universal
Totally.
donor.
Oh, universal. Oh,
She's a universal donor, of course.
Do you want to get to the Beetlejuice trailer?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a day of trailers. Let's just rock and roll full throttle.
Let's get banned. Let's get banned.
You're right, band speed run.
I think as long as we keep talking over it.
Mr. Day. The cue of the song is great.
I saw this trailer yesterday when we watched it, and I'm singing along to the song, and my daughter's like, "How do you know this song?"
Nothing has existed before me, so how you know what I'm experiencing for the first time? You know it already?
Yeah.
You're a witch. I will say I've always loved the miniature aspect of this thing.
Of the story, the model building. I've always, if there was a hobby that I would have liked to have gotten into, it would be model building. I mean, it's not gonna happen, but
yeah,
I would have liked for it to happen.
The juice is loose. Hold on. Is that? Do you think that that's de-aging, or is that what she?
No,
looks like?
it's just Hollywood magic, baby. It's Hollywood magic. But again, I don't think she looks bad. If people are gonna be like, she doesn't look like that in
Stranger Things.
And Stranger Things, I'm like, but in Stranger Things, she's meant to look like a mother who's lost her kid to the underworld for years. Like,
She looks at the very least stressed. You know what I mean? She's also like 80s, like early 80s mom, where there was like you went from 20 to 30 and immediately you turned into a golden girl.
Remember, because they would smoke cigarettes in high school, and like, hey, everybody's smoking cigarettes, and then by the time they're 30, they're like, those cigarettes really fucking did you in for, bro.
yeah, you look like it.
You age.
I
don't think that's de-aging, but I do think that's Hollywood.
It's lighting and
makeup and whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say.
Is there more?
So no, that's it. That's the whole thing. I will say, as much as had you not seen the trailer?
I
saw it yesterday for the first time.
I thought there was going to be an actual trailer. This feels like a teaser. I would call it a teaser.
I think now there is an actual trailer. I think that was the teaser, and I think since that teaser has been released, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I am. But what I will say, did you see the trailer for Wicked?
Wicked?
Holy fuck! So for those of you who don't know, my favorite book that's not Marvel or DC, my favorite book of all time is Wizard of Oz. That's my favorite book of all time.
You did, yeah. I remember. I was there.
There was a time where I was reading all of his books. And it was, I think he has like 13 of them. I never finished all 13 of them, but I got through like 4 or 5. And so coming from someone who's been wanting to watch Wicked since it was on Broadway, since it came out on Broadway, and I just haven't gotten to Broadway ever. So when now the movie's out, I'm like, well, there's no need for me to go to fucking Broadway. There's no need for me to go to Broadway. But that trailer for Wicked looks wicked, kid. Wicked.
I have seen Wicked. I saw it actually at the Arsht Center in Miami. I saw it back in the Dizzy, in the Arsht Center. And it's a great show. It really is fantastic. It's I don't have the like love of musical theater that I do. Yeah, you like it more than I do.
I think I like it more than you do, and Steph likes it more than everybody.
Yes. Of the 3 WuBro hosts, Steph would be the one.
We're the spectrum. We are the spectrum.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I don't appreciate it because they're talented. But the people, let's just say I saw the B team. You know what I mean? Like, because the Broadway people are the A team, and then the road, the people who take the show on the road are like the B team. And even then, they're fantastic. Like, these are super talented singers. They all deserve the credit they get. But yeah, like it's definitely.
Well, I wouldn't agree to that. I get what you're saying. It wasn't the original cast.
Right. Not the stars.
It's not the original cast, right? So it's to call them a B team is a bit much, I think. But I mean, if you're hired by the original company, it's not like Being Elementary presents Wicked. It's fucking. It's
I'd not gonna lie. I would watch it. I would watch.
I mean, I would watch. Have you seen that video of that elementary doing Scarface?
That had to. I don't know what that was,
That's
but that I
clearly
don't know if
fake,
that's.
but it
It's
was fucking
but
brilliant.
it's
Number one.
so fucking good with the popcorn.
With the
Yeah,
popcorn?
so
Oh,
good,
it's so good.
so good.
Fantastic. But I
There
think
is another
I think-
trailer. I have it here.
I
Susanna
think
says,
every elementary should do that with all movies.
"Have you
Like,
seen them?"
whatever the popular movie is this year,
Mhm.
next year's elementary play should be that. We
Just to
should
give the parents
we
something
should
to
get
pay attention to?
we should get an elementary production of Dune.
Yes. Oh my god. Hey, look, Shiny says Jenna Ortega is legit perfect casting in Beetlejuice. To go back to Beetlejuice, and then
I agree
I'm
with
not
that.
sure what they're referring to for this. Yes.
I'm assuming
Yes.
Wicked. I'm assuming Wicked.
Yeah. Some people like you love it, but some people are up in arms about Ariana Grande and what's the other lady's name? That they are they the B team?
Well,
Are the movie actors? Is Anne Hathaway and Les Mis movie the B team?
No, but Russell Crowe definitely was.
Russell Crowe got called up from the minors.
Russell Crowe had like he put his Oscar dick on the table and was like, "Fuck you, I want to do this. This is my side mission."
I want this. Yeah, just doing side quests forever. He's
Yeah.
like, I want to be panned as the worst person in this movie.
Yeah. Look, Russell Crowe was
S team. See, I'm not sure what you mean, because S tier is supreme. That is the
no.
top.
I think it was going A, B, C, D, E, and he got down to S. I think that's what they were
S
going
for
for.
shit. I think
Yeah,
is what they're going
shit,
for.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what I will say is, so I think the problem with the casting for this movie is that the real hardcore fans of the Broadway play are such fans of those actors, which, by the way, have also been in a lot of movies, cinematic movies. So I think that's their problem. Like, why not cast them if they were part of the original cast? And I think, as much as I can understand their point of view, I think the filmmakers of this film are like, yeah, but we're trying to do our own thing, so it's not a straight adaptation from
like a straight rip.
So
I get it. I'm probably gonna watch it when it comes out on streaming. I'm probably gonna watch it.
I mean, you're part of the Academy. You're part of the Academy. You get
SAG. I mean, if I get SAG screeners for sure, I'll watch them.
Yeah.
But again, as a non, it's not that I dislike musicals. I don't pursue them as like it would never be like first choice of watching it. It would be second choice. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie. It might
maybe you're the B team.
Maybe I'm the B team. Maybe. I fully accept it. Do you want to watch the actual trailer for Beetlejuice?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
This is the teaser's the only one I've seen. I haven't seen this one either. So
yeah,
it would be the first for both of us.
Preview. Be warned, it's intense.
We saw the Deo Deo. Ominous score. Who's the father? Who's Jenna Ortega's father?
I can't believe Grandpa's dead.
Death is hard.
Yeah, sometimes I think life is harder.
Okay. Oh, the sculpture. That's funny.
A teenager, a trickster demon terrorized our entire family and tried to force me to marry him.
Yeah, but that happened like in a day.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Try to force me. That is the 1/10 sentence summary of the entire first movie. Like they just nailed it. Like a trickster demon tried to force me to marry him. Yep. There's a couple B stories in there, but yeah, that's about it.
And also, but they took place in a day.
I believed he was gone forever until you found this in the attic.
Ew. Who's Beetlejuice?
Don't ever say that name.
Beetlejuice.
Shut the fuck.
I'm serious.
She does look like an astrid.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
The juice is loose. I'm gonna make you so happy.
What? Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
The dead. Can they coexist? That's what we're here to find out.
Man, Willem Dafoe killing it lately.
William Dafoe, if there was anybody who should be cast in a Beetlejuice movie, would be William Dafoe.
Yeah.
Just has a face.
Feel free to express yourselves. Don't be afraid.
You're a figment of my imagination.
Really? Is this a figment of your imagination?
Yeah. Classic.
So I will say this. Great trailer. I'm interested because I was already interested.
It
But
doesn't give away too much.
it doesn't give away too much, but it kind of does. I also saw Beetlejuice, the play. And
Oh, did you get jerked off by Lauren Boebert too?
I missed it by this much.
By
It was fucking. I had tickets to that show, and then I couldn't go to that show, so I had to go to the next show. But then the fucking guy ruined it. The guy before me ruined it.
What a
Did you
bummer.
see these guys when she was at Trump's trial, and they were fucking this chick Laura, whatever her name was, the one that was jerking the guy off at Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
She was like talking about Trump and at the courthouse, in front of the courthouse, whatever. And some guys were trying to get her to sign the playbill to Beetlejuice.
It's fucking great. Oh man.
But I saw the Beetlejuice play, and it was fucking amazing. Like, it was fantastic.
Hey, look, Shiny says, wait, what? Look, just Google Lauren Boebert Beetlejuice, and
Oh, she doesn't know? They don't
I
know?
don't know if she doesn't know. Lauren Boebert was,
Or
'cause
he?
she's-
I don't know. Look, hey, look, Shiny. I
they don't know.
Hey.
The idea that it's such like an odd. It was such a quick flash in the pan because of how much fucking crazy is out there when it comes to the political spectrum.
This story
it's that fast.
This story should have like lasted for years, and like it should have killed her career.
It should have. But she's dead.
But there's so much other crazy that
so she went to
bleach blonde, bad bleach blonde,
bad butch body, bad body butch bitch. Whatever. it is.
I mean, she herself has said so much crazy shit that it's like, girl, don't worry about it. This too shall pass.
This too shall pass. But she was, and there was like security cameras in. No, it wasn't Butch Body.
No, it wasn't Butch Body.
Lauren Boebert.
My point to bring up Butch Body is that Butch Body says enough crazy things to bump the Beetlejuice jerk off out of the news.
It's just so much. But basically, her and her new boyfriend or whatever, I don't know, she's divorced. I don't know, whatever the deal was. There was security camera footage because they have it in the theater in one of where the Beetlejuice show was happening.
Sure.
For security reasons, and she's literally like in her date's crotch, and he's like grabbing a boob, and they're like fondling each other publicly to the point where someone was like, "Can you not do that?"
But this would have never come out. The only reason it came out, the only reason the video footage was even looked at was because she was late coming back from intermission.
Oh yeah,
and they wouldn't let her back in, and
That's
she was like, "You know who the fuck I am?
Yeah.
I'm the blah 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 blah." She made a big stink about being a representative.
Yes.
And so she made a big stink about that, not knowing that there were cameras in the fucking room. So then when she made a big stink about it and tweeted, "Oh, Beetlejuice is blah, 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 blah,"
This
and
theater's full of shit, man.
This theater's full of shit. I was like late by a minute or whatever the fuck. And then the theater was like, "Well, we have this footage. Oh, this is what we're gonna do now." And then,
you mean this? And then it's like,
you want to take it back to this? This is what you want to get back to?
Fantastic. You were close. You didn't finish. You didn't finish. Okay. What a mess. Why are we talking about?
Because of Beetlejuice. Because I saw the play. Because I saw the Broadway play Beetlejuice. It was fantastic. The story was great. It was good, man.
I get
very different story than the original, by the way.
I've heard.
The Beetlejuice play has the same characters, meaning the Alec Baldwin character, but it's very different story.
Yeah.
So mentally, you're like, wait, that's not what happened, right? You're watching the play, and you're like, that's not what happened. You're like, well, I guess I gotta hear him out, see what's gonna happen.
Hey, look, whoever was doing it, the HJ at BJ.
It was definitely AJ.
The HJ at BJ. What a great, that's like the Thriller in Manila level marketing. The HJ at BJ has a great publicity team to bury it after the fact. This is amazing.
No, but again, that's what my point to bring up the Butch Body chick
Right.
is, because it's not that the story got buried, is that there was so much other craziness happening.
Yes.
It's kind of like when somebody says something stupid in a group thread.
Right.
And if nobody says anything after that, that stupid comment just lingers there.
You know,
but
yes,
if the more people you have in the thread, the more crazy you have, and it just gets buried and people forget about it.
Hey, how about somebody post some emojis real quick?
Yeah. Look at these gifts. Look at these gifts.
Look at these gifts. I just thought of it now, but someone was asking me about, like, because we were at work. There's a lot of different political opinions in the healthcare field, blah blah blah. And I was just thinking about it now. Like, I was trying to encapsulate the description of it. If you had to explain it to someone, what you were describing right now, it's like when you trip over your feet and you try to catch yourself, but you just keep not being able to make it. So by the time you fall, you're like 30 feet from where you initially tripped.
Yeah.
Right? Like, nobody remembers the first thing. You're like, I took 16 steps and I still ate it at the end. And now nobody remembers why I was trying to I tripped on a crack or whatever.
Sure.
It's the video of that newscaster losing his mind watching a girl on high heels try to hold her legs up.
Oh, so good.
Specific
That's so good.
reference. Anyway, I do. Okay. The other thing on the list, it says autosexual over there on the side of the menu.
You don't have to mention the list. You could just bring up the things on the list.
No, why not? I have a list. I'm going to go through it. I'm an organized man.
But you could do it. You could go through it without saying, okay, what's next on the list? Like, just go through just say what's next on the list. Like,
hey,
it's hide behind the curtain a little bit, baby. We don't have to show them.
There's no curtain. What? Okay, let's try and segue this. From hand jobs to maybe she thought it was a stick shift. Speaking of autos, the autosexual. I'm assuming that because I didn't ask any questions and I have no idea what's going on about this, that the Kourtney Kardashian came out as autosexual. It's because she wants to fuck Optimus Prime.
So that's exactly.
She's an Autobot aficionado.
I'm pretty sure she's more of a jazz. It's not gonna be Optimus Prime. It's gonna be Jazz. Pretty fucking sure.
I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but I kind of do.
You know exactly what I mean by that.
that.
You know exactly
Yeah.
Everybody who's watched Transformers and knows Jazz and has heard Jazz's voice and knows about Kourtney Kardashian knows those two things line up.
Okay. Suzanne. Oh, this is great. Everybody put these in put your puns in the chat. Suzanimal, autosexuals like it fast and furious.
Yeah.
Boom. I wish I had air horn noises. Yes. Oh man. Autosexuals don't have friends, they have family. You know what? Never mind.
By the way, I didn't even know what sound that was. I'm like, what button is this? I haven't used these in so long that I forgot what the fuck they are. I'm like, what sound is
That's
this?
so funny. I do. Okay, so let me see. Because this is the article you sent me, and I do love the fact that Kourtney Kardashian, it refers to her as American socialite. That's all that's the top of the list for what she is. American socialite has come out before fans and identified herself as autosexual and received praise from her fans. Can you tell me what it is before I scroll down? Do you know what it is?
I had to Google it because I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I had to Google I had to look up what autosexual is, the actual definition of autosexual. And if you read the actual definition, I'd rather you pull up the actual definition of autosexual. It reads as somebody who's just narcissistic. It really does. This isn't. I'm not trying to get in trouble or catch any smoke for anybody's sexuality. I did not know this was a sexuality until I read this, until I saw this tweet.
So this is a therapist, whatever helped define the term, and said a trait wherein one is turned on by engaging in their own eroticism.
Right. Okay. Go to the Wikipedia definition of just like Google autosexual definition, and then you will see a more in-depth, and everything that the definition mentions, it just screams narcissist.
Being or pretending to sex with oneself. I've been an autosexual since
My
my entire life.
What are you talking about?
What is happening? There's a WebMD link.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Autosexuality means people are more attracted to themselves than to others and prefer masturbation to sex with a partner. Oh, come on. And one of your kids walk in during the sexuality conversation? Come on.
Sorry.
That's so funny. Yeah, let's talk about the horniest thing possible. And then one of your kids
And then my
walks in.
3-year-old is like, "Hey, puppy." Yeah.
Oh man. Autosexuality has not been widely studied. Hey buddy, I got news for you. I've studied it my whole life.
I have taken an in-depth.
Yeah.
I've taken these studies into my own hands.
Autosexual. I love this. Hey, look, Shiny. Hey, I'm hot enough for the two of us.
That is so true.
It's pretty great. A hands-on approach, if you will. Oh, killing it. Hey, look, Shiny. Do we know you in real life? I don't know who you are, but please come back every time we're on. You're great.
Like other sexual orientations, autosexuality can exist on a continuum. Some may have sexual desires for themselves, enjoy self-stimulation, have sexual dreams about themselves, and fantasize about themselves to the exclusion of other relationships. Yeah. So that's what they're saying. I mean, if I gotta be honest with you, if anybody in that family, I think the whole family, if you would have said, what's an autosexual and describe it, I'm like, yeah, that whole family, right? Just screams Kanye West.
Screams Kanye. It absolutely screams Kanye.
But again, how is that not narcissism? You're in love with yourself to the point that you want to be in a relationship with yourself sexually, as well as like, I mean, how is that not narcissism? I'm not knocking them. I just didn't know this was a thing.
Oh, wait, what? Is Hey Look Shiny Steph? I couldn't record today?
I
don't know. What an anonymous thing. Don't tell us if you are. Then be anonymous. Remain mysterious.
By the way, what do you think? Steph is on assignment today, and we played this game last week with you.
Yeah. Where was I?
She says, I forget the word that she used, but she used the actual word for, remember when street performers go out there and perform?
Oh, busking? Yeah.
Yes. She says he's busking. And I was like, what the fuck is, of course I knew what it was, but I had to make sure she told the audience, because the audience is stupid. They don't know what it is.
They don't know what's up. Yeah.
So I had to go with that. Yeah. I had to, the busking. So you were busking. What do you think Steph is doing on assignment?
Steph is on assignment right now. She's wombat wrangling. She's wrangling some wombats, of course.
Yes, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Absolutely a fair assessment. I mean, look,
I think she is at a casting for Bluey.
You know what they need? More Hispanic representation on Bluey.
Yeah, a Chihuahua, something, bro.
A Chihuahua or whatever the Colombian. She's Colombian, right? Whatever the Colombian version of.
I mean, listen, man. We're as Latinos, you take any representation. You can get, okay?
We'll take what we can get.
I'll take a Colombian playing a Chihuahua. That's fine, bro. It doesn't have to be Mexican. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be. Yeah, it could be. Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine who is a huge. She was like almost a breeder to the point like she had a few different healers, blue healers. Years ago, for years now.
Yeah.
And so when the show Bluey came out, she didn't have a kid yet. She does now, but she didn't have a kid yet. So I introduced her to Bluey, right? This is like a year and a half ago. I introduced her to Bluey. She's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Oh, they're healers. Like, you love healers. There's a cartoon for healers that has, blue healers." And she was like, "That's not the way their spots are or whatever, blah blah." And I was like, "These dogs fucking talk and drive cars. So why don't we settle the fuck down there, huh? Why don't we settle down there with historical accuracies?" Jesus.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Apparently, there's ads on our stream now. Do we have ads on Twitch? I guess we do. Twitch is
I'm not a Twitch person, so
yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Not ads. Those are spams.
Oh, the comment. Oh yeah, I just ignore those. I wish I would.
Yeah.
I don't have the panel open to get rid of them, but whatever.
You do that. You right click right here. Right.
We need a moderator or something. The idea that blue, like again, we're hipstering things that are that were like we were into blue healers before they were popular or whatever.
Well, no, but she was saying that there was inaccuracies with the cartoon with the depiction of blue healers. She was saying like, "Oh, that the colors are off or whatever," and I was like, "You are aware the fucking dogs talk and drive cars, all right?"
Also, yes, also the exaggeration. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I will say this: blue healers are like a legit working animal. So like, it's like when people get like I'm not a fan of people who have dogs that don't know how to have dogs. That like the work like they get like I want to get a wolfhound or some sort of like giant
Yes.
like
well, I saw it on Game of Thrones, so I want a wolf, and it's like,
bro, or even like there's people who get like a giant, just a cane corso, and they're like, I love big dogs something.
First of all, they're canes.
Cane corso. I know the Italian. I'm not Italian. I'm gonna say it however.
I was trying to get a cane once, a year ago.
Those are not easy dogs to have.
I understand, Michael. I've done my research, Michael. Take it easy.
You mean you Googled two things?
I Googled more than two things. More enough to know that I've talked to breeders, and there are breeders in Florida that would literally not sell you a cane if you pronounce it cane. That's the point of me bringing up this conversation. There are like people get serious about that type of shit. Like oh, I'm not Italian. Like no, you don't understand. Fucking those breeders get real fucking serious about that type of shit. I was like, anyways. Canes are great. I'm gonna get a cane at some point in my life, just not now. The kids are too small, and so hopefully.
I want a mutt. I want a dog that you can't specify what kind of dog they are.
That was Lady in Blue. Lady in Blue. I had
Lady in Blue, but they were both like, what kind of dog is that? And you're like, a dog.
Every time somebody would ask me, they'd go, "What kind of dog is that?" And I would say, "A good guess." You fucking just take a good guess.
Yeah,
you fucking
figure it out.
You figure that shit out.
We have a friend that was visiting us, and they have a dog that I was like, it's got to have some boxer in it or something, and they were like, what she wants is to have it the DNA testing, and I'm like, I want a dog that if you DNA test it, it comes back inconclusive. I want it to be like, this might be like the evolution reverting back to the original dog. Like I want that kind of mush of genetics, because first of all, those dogs apparently live longer. They're like,
they have
super resilient.
They have less health issues. It's the opposite of what Hitler was doing. He was like, "Oh, he's like, no. The more you mix, but this isn't just.
Don't you bring Hitler into this podcast? Let's talk about dogs and cute dogs.
This isn't just for dogs. The more mixing you have of DNAs, the better it is, because you have more traits and more characteristics of different cultures and different peoples and different breeds. So if you are breeding a dog, the stronger breeds, absolutely." Look, I'm telling you, I've had too much my life. Lady just passed away a couple months ago, and I have now a golden retriever. And the only reason we had a golden retriever is because Baloo, who we love dearly and was a mixed breed towards the end of his life, he was suffering and he was aggressive, and so he snapped at the baby. So then we just wanted a breed that we knew wasn't going to snap, and we're like, all right, like just more faith in that. Hence why we did not get a cane corso.
Yes, my God, yeah.
Hence why, which, by the way, they're not necessarily an aggressive breed, canes. They're just
super big and
violent. By the way, they're not as big as Great Danes. So I like the fact that you're treating.
I'm talking more like muscle mass, like those dogs are thick. I want a thick dog.
Thick. I want a thick THIC.
THICC dog.
Oh,
hey, look, Shady. Dream Dog looks like a Muppet out of the Jim Henson Show. Yes, I love it. Mom Koji, Yolanda, thanks for joining us. A Chewbacca, a full-on Chewbacca emoji.
Or is it a Bing Bong?
What's a Bing Bong?
From Inside Out.
You want a Bing Bong?
Because if you ever watched the movie Inside Out. They go, "What are you?" And she's like, "Oh, this was during her phase where she was mixing all of these things.
Right,
Part
right.
elephant, part cotton candy,
I
part
get
like it was
it.
like all this crazy mixture. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what Bing Bong was.
By
the way, the movie If,
good.
Not only is it good, you will fucking cry. You will fucking cry at this movie. It was just brutal. Brutal.
Yeah.
Fucking brutal.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the sales pitch that people.
It's so good, man. It's so good. It is
All
like
right.
it is okay. If you watch Inside Out,
it's Bing Bong level.
Bing Bong live action level of
really,
where it's beautiful and you cry for good reasons.
You cry for good reasons,
but it's not. You know what I mean? It's not. It is a thing where you're crying. It is a thing where you're like, oh, I found myself on 2 separate occasions out loud in the movie theater next to my children, going, "Oh shit."
Oh, that's not what you want to hear to kids.
By the way, I don't curse. By the way, I don't curse in front of my children. But I was like, "Oh shit, they got me with this one. God damn it, they got me."
Hold it in. Hold it in.
Hold.
So apparently there's a phrase for it, Mike, and it's just super mutt.
S level.
I want a S tier mutt. I want I want it all. I want a vague shape of a dog to be my dog. Yeah, that's what I want.
What would you like? It would have to have. I would like to have it. If you're gonna make a super mutt, I would like it to have the tongue of that Mexican breed where it's like hanging out all the time.
Yeah.
I want that tongue. Just give me that.
I had such a great dog for such a long time when I was a kid. Through my 20s, he was 19, literally 19 years old when we put Max down. He was a mutt. He was like a yellow lab mix with Australian Shepherd. He had a thing tail and a pink nut. Like he was just like yellow eye. It was just a weird dog, and he lived forever. But I would want like that, like something. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah,
like
Lady was almost 50. Lady was like 3-4 months shy of being 15 years old, man. They live forever. Mutts are good.
I want Crypto the super mutt, the Kryptonian. What is he? He's Superman's dog.
Yeah, sure. And the comics.
And the comics. Yeah. Shall we move on to our next thing?
Fuck those autosexuals.
They fuck themselves. Yeah.
Hey, autosexuals, go fuck yourselves.
And they're like, that's my plan.
You're welcome.
That's literally my whole thing. You sent me this thing. I have not read it yet.
Oh, good. Perfect. This is it. This is
Okay.
it. This is
Speaking of unknown mysteries, let's see. Let's talk about this. So you sent this to me, and it's about IT trolling someone. And we talked about it earlier about being in IT to have you turn it off and turn it back on again. I am the resident computer here. Let me do. I'm the resident tech support for like my family, for like my mom.
Because you're the youngest one.
Because for my mom especially, I'm the one that solves all the problems. In my house, I am the techie person to the bane of my wife's existence. She gets she's like, just leave it alone. I don't want a new phone. I'm like, come on, we can get you something. She's like, no, leave it alone. I'm the techie guy. So and at work, I've become this person who solves a lot of the technical issues because it's faster than contacting the right people.
My my mom loves to say like, oh, my son fixes my phone. And like, I flip on the switch that says sound, and then I flip like, cause it's not ringing. I'm like, yeah, but you have to flip the sound on. Oh, thank you for fixing it. I appreciate it, Mom, but I didn't fix it. I just
used the phone as it's supposed to be.
It wasn't even broken. It wasn't. All
right. Let's see. Someone in IT trolled me for over a decade. Have I any recourse? This is posted on Reddit for the podcast listener. This is posted on Reddit. The subreddit Legal Advice UK. So someone in the UK is asking for legitimate legal advice about this. I worked in a medium-sized firm between 2014 and January 2024. I found myself constantly making mistakes while working. Some examples are so they make mistakes. My calculations on Microsoft Excel being wrong. Data inputs on spreadsheets being wrong. Booking the wrong days with my annual leave by accident. I booked first through the 10th of October, but suddenly found I had booked the 3rd through the 13th of October. impacting the business negatively. Typos in documents that I sent. Counts was cunts. I feel like that's in quotes. I have to read it that way.
No.
I felt like I was going crazy, so I would do things like screenshot what I had calculated, but I found my screenshots had disappeared when I logged in the next day, so I was wondering if I took them in the first place. In February 2024, our IT guy, we'll call him Bob, left us facing a disciplinary, and we hired another one. The new IT guy over the next 2 weeks approached me and showed me a series of records. Bob had been accessing my system, editing my work, and changing the information I had put into it put into my annual leave sheet, amongst other things. This man has been sabotaging my work life for a decade. The consequences I faced are: I was not allowed to work from home like my colleagues due to my apparent unreliability. This has resulted in 250 pounds in transport costs every month between 2021 and 2024. I have been overlooked for promotion. I have had my professional life and credibility massively damaged. I had to undergo.
I love the fact that Mike is laughing. This is nuts, crazy.
I had to undergo assessments for ADHD and early onset Alzheimer's and other cognitive tests with NHS. I was put on a performance improvement plan. Holy fuck. The old IT guy has moved out of the UK, but is there anything I can do? I've spoken with HR and they issued an apology, allowed me to work from home again, and remove my PIP. What about all the money I lost traveling to work for years? What about the stress of ADHD and Alzheimer's assessments? What about the years he made me think I was absent-minded or crazy or even stupid? Can the police do anything about this?
What a fucking crazy story. This is bonkers.
The scope of this.
A decade, bro.
Okay, so someone in the comments was like, okay, don't diminish this as trolling. The man did actual psychiatric and financial damage to you.
Yeah.
Find an employment lawyer, because it doesn't matter if he leaves the country.
No, that doesn't matter. Not only does it not matter, but the company's also responsible for who they hire. So the company's also in there. Like, again, these are UK laws, so they're very different. Again, they don't have to be the same as America. I would assume.
Does he not have a boss of his own? Like that was.
I'm not a lawyer, but
what?
I would assume. I didn't want to tell you. Theodore Esquire is just my handle on
Theodore Logan.
So, but I would assume that the company is also responsible financially. Liable for
man.
If you and me, Mike, are both employed by the same company, and I harass you, whether it be sexually or physically or whatever it is, you have the right to sue the company because the company hired me. So I would assume it would be the same thing in this case. Like, just because the guy no longer works there, there's proof and evidence. You've actually apologized to me, so you have acknowledged that this was a thing. You can't even hide behind there's no way to prove it. Like, the company have acknowledged that it's a thing. So
it's crazy to me. The company, like they can't just be like, oops, our bad, and sorry, you can work from home.
Yeah.
But like, because could you imagine, like,
fucking bonkers? It's bonkers.
Yeah.
The fact that you were laughing, I was like, Mike is laughing. This is crazy.
I'm laughing out of like nerve, like just like insanity.
Yeah.
But it's also like, this has happened on my other podcast with William A. Watkins called Just Trying to Look Like You on the Zeros on Heroes network, that we talked about. I don't want to use terms that are diagnoses for mental health issues like narcissism or whatever, like gaslighting. These terms get thrown around a lot.
Right.
And it's like, someone who's lying to you is not gaslighting you. But this person is gaslighting. This is legitimate gaslighting.
The only thing I had, right? And you know, when you read these kind of scenarios or any kind of scenario, you kind of put yourself in that situation. Like, what would I do? You would like to think that you would know better or whatever. And the only thing I would have done different is take pictures with my phone. Like, I'm going to take a picture with my phone. Not only am I going to do a screenshot, but I'm going to take a picture with my phone and maybe even a video like, hey man, this is me
Yeah.
making this video, blah blah blah. And then when it gets deleted, show that and be like, something's up. We got to figure. I would never have said, I'm not one to say like I knew the fucking IT guy was involved. No, but if something is up and it's like, wait a minute, did I take that screenshot? I'm pretty sure I took that screenshot. I would do I'm a big component of doing phone shots. Like I take pictures
outside of the profession. If you're working, okay, this is something I think a lot of people don't realize. Even if you're on your own computer, if you're on any kind of employee software network or anything like that, they can see everything.
Sure.
Assume that they can see everything.
Absolutely.
If you're storing anything on a shared drive or a shared email server, assume it is being monitored and can be edited. So we were just having a conversation with a friend of ours who had some legal trouble with a job that they weren't paying her. And then she was like, every time there was some communication, you always get that shit in writing. You never do anything verbally, but you also always send and receive things and you BCC your own personal private thing separate from something that they would have control over. So this to me is an example of someone who maybe it was done in a way that was like, behind like hard to notice, but at a certain point it's like I'm not I have to go into the office. It's like, okay, I'm gonna start screenshotting and then sending it to my own personal, like what are you doing leaving it on your own computer? That to me is like, but I was looking through the comments now,
and not trying to victim blame either. I'm just saying,
not trying
what
to victim
would I
blame,
do?
like
Exactly. What would I do?
How would I prevent this in the future?
And also another question, is he the only person in the company this happened to?
Apparently in a response to some comments, the OP, who is apparently a woman, Bob had assaulted another woman on the premises and was dismissed without being allowed back in, screaming at her, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, he tried to chat me up when I first joined the company. I refused him, which is why I think this started.
Oh.
But by medium-sized business, I mean, there are about 30 of us. So she in this company, I'd consider it anything 20 or less to be small, but that's my own definition. I might be wrong. So literally, this is some incel bullshit. This is why
women would rather fucking encounter a bear.
This is why they choose the bear.
This is why they choose the bear.
Holy shit.
And you can't even say that's crazy. You could be like, no, you got a point. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, everybody's like, call the cops. Yeah, this is fucking crazy. That guy, he fled the country, probably to some country where he can be an even bigger creep. But holy cow. Holy moly.
Yeah, it's a bug. Like I saw that story and I was like, that is crazy.
Like,
am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole? This bruh didn't want to fucking give me a number when I was governor, or they're British. So it's like, I can't do it. Never mind.
I can do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna subject you to what would have come out of my mouth as a British accent.
Yeah. Well, if I could do accents, the accents that I would have chosen for that character is Brad Pitt's character in Snatch.
You like Dax?
Which, by the way, I just learned this fun fact about that. Did you know that he got that character because he wanted to be in a movie directed by
Guy Ritchie?
Guy Ritchie. Guy Ritchie loves him as a person, but Brad Pitt cannot do a British accent, and so that's why he did that character. He was supposed.
You say Brad Pitt and I have something in common? Brad Pitt and I are the same guy.
He was supposed to do Jason Statham's part. And but he just couldn't do a fucking and Guy Ritchie being British is like, I can't put this fucking guy in this role because this role calls for a British
because of this post. I feel like the UK and for many reasons lately, the UK has lost their
shine.
Not that they're. Don't you ever come to me and tell me a British accent is classy?
Yeah,
I got news for you.
Well, I mean, even within the UK, they get some shitty parts of the UK where that's they have the South. They have their version of the South.
Yes. And also with this post, this is another reason. Not only would I rather run across a bear in the woods, I would rather work for a bear.
Working for a bear is easy. 6 months out of the year, you're doing shit. Are you
6
kidding
months
me?
out of the year? Hey, what, you want me to
Hey,
collect some
please.
salmon for you? You want me to collect some
Oh,
honey for you?
Whatever,
Let's do
dude.
it.
6 months
I
out of
got
the
it.
year, you're just taking a nap. Where's the boss? Sleeping again. This fucking
Sleeping
guy.
again. Oh, wow. Anyway, the good Lord, that is insane. And thank you for sharing it with me, because now that will be in my brain forever. Now I'm
Forever.
going to be so paranoid at work.
Yes, you now have to take pictures of everything with your phone, not just screenshots.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow. Holy shit. Thank you everybody for watching us today. Thank you for all the podcast listeners who are hearing this in the future. We are in the past now. You can join us in the present by watching us live when we stream. You can follow us at Mike Mercadal, at Nery Saenz, and at WuBro Pod on all platforms to get notified when we go live. So you can jump in the comments like the Suzanimal, Adam Suzanne himself, like hey, look at Shiny, who couldn't join us on the podcast today, but that's Steph. Like Yolanda, like the advertiser that decided to post about Streamrise for us.
It's spam, but okay.
It's spam.
Also, if you're listening to us on the audio version, that's gonna be out tomorrow from the day of this recording. You could and you want to go back and watch us, because I gotta be honest with you. Mike has the Brad Pitt of they can't do accents. I have Brad Pitt's face. So if you want somebody who looks identical to Brad Pitt, you want to watch that, go to our Facebook and our YouTube channels.
What, you don't believe us? Prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong.
Yeah. How would you know?
How would you know?
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe. Post this on all of the feeds and all the social medias, and clip
the new album. The new album's coming out June 28th. Pre-sales. I'm shooting for June 14th pre-sales, but that's going to be confirmed by next week's episode. But that's what I'm shooting for. June 28th release.
Multiple reasons for you to follow Nery Saenz right now. Thank you all for joining us. Go out and do some good.
That's how winning is done.
I wasn't done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on. I was gonna say, what have we learned today? Go fuck yourself. Go cover your ass at work so you don't get fucked.
Go read a book.
Go read a book if it's about fucking. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of spicy content these days that you can go. And remember, that's how winning is